Hi everyone, welcome to EL, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And my best wishes to all of you for Independence Day. Today we have with us Miss Prachi Singh, who is the founder of 3 minute platform that delivers hand-picked content to your mailbox. Hi Prachi, welcome to ELI.
Hi there. So great that I'm given this opportunity to showcase my story and put my story at the ELI platform. I think it is an amazing initiative that you guys are taking and really proud of you.
If you can introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So I am Prachi. I am a marketing undergrad. Did my undergrad studies in IHS College of Business Studies, Delhi University, majoring in marketing. As I did a BMS in my undergrad, MBA was a natural step for me. So now I'm pursuing my MBA from IIM Indore. I plan on majoring in marketing itself. 3 minutes for me was a platform where I could express. I'm a huge reading and writing buff. I even publish stories on Wattpad. So I thought that let me start 3 minutes alongside my studies so that I have a platform where I can write what I feel about world events, some interesting stories that I know and that I feel that the world should know.
Okay. Uh, Tell us in detail what is 3 minutes about, and how did you come up with the name 3 minutes?
So actually, it is a very funny story. We were actually inspired by FinShots. So FinShots is our inspiration, and me and my friend Asta, we used to love FinShots. But what we found that FinShots was so targetedly whenever we needed to read something else, we could not like come across a good source, a good regular input. Like there is InShots, the app, but there is so much junk on InShots that we didn't like InShots. So we thought that okay, we need to do something and we need to come up with a name. So initially we were thinking of using some gibberish mix of two words, but then why not? We thought why not use something that we relate to, and because we were people who were always on the go and we hated reading long passages. Like our college had HBR readings and we never went across the third page. So that is what induced us to use the name 3 minutes because of our laziness, I guess.
Okay. Uh, Prachi, email newsletters and newsletter itself is coming up as a industry. I think there are many companies like Morning Brew is one, and then there is Robin Hood Snacks. So many such email newsletters and other form of newsletter companies are arising and booming. Uh, what do you think about this industry? What are the typical norms in this industry, and how our fellow entrepreneurs can get into this industry? Can you tell us a bit?
Yeah. Okay, so I feel I'll begin with giving an overview, as in what are the essentials to be a good newsletter in this industry. So the major problem is that I can get a lot of people to subscribe to my newsletter, but subscribers don't make a newsletter successful. The mail open rate, as in how many people you blast your email to and how many people open it out of that. That is the crucial and the most essential factor here. So I feel that increasing that mail open rate depends a lot. And even if you talk about Morning Brew and if you take up any newsletter in the industry and you ask what is their mail open rate, they range around 5 to 10 to 15% if it is a newsletter. And if it is a promotional newsletter, it is even low. When they reach 5%, it is a huge hit for them. Like, okay, our ABC campaign got 5% opens. So I think open rate is a huge problem for them in this industry specifically. And for anybody trying to enter, it is essential that you have something, you have a content or a collaboration of content that is not available anywhere else. Because come to think of it, if you own a blog, you are still blasting newsletters. If you are a news website, you are still blasting newsletters. If you are a company who has a blog section or a newsletter section, you are still blasting newsletter. So every major company blasts newsletter just to get audience to remember their name, to increase their top of the mind recall. So the most crucial thing I feel here was a correct amalgamation of content. And that is what even I was worried initially, that my content won't be unique enough for people to subscribe. And that is why I ran a palette phase, as I said initially. So yeah, you should have a good content. You should be able to create enough catchy subjects so that people open your mails, because these mails often land in the promotions tab of Gmail, and that causes a problem for a lot of newsletters.
Okay. So, Prachi, tell us how, in case we uh, become a successful newsletter, what are the different revenue streams we can generate out of it?
Okay. I think the first and the most important is gaining a subscription, a paid subscription. As we are just going out, we offer free subscriptions. So the first and most important thing is gaining paid subscriptions. Then there are tie-ups and relationships that you can always build, that we have already started doing. Some of our newsletters are sponsored by, say, media houses or products, and we add a line that this article was sponsored by so and so. So that is another source, because sponsoring can always get you money. uh, and apart from that, if like us, we direct our crowd and our people to our website. So obviously, one, if you have a website hosting, gaining using Google Ads and Analytics is always a good option, and it can gain you some quick cash. But obviously, that is not a dependable revenue stream. Apart from that, a lot of newsletters have their own YouTube channels as well. So whatever they post on the newsletter has a video version of it, because people often don't like reading and they prefer videos to it. So yeah, on hosting video channels, etc., is another revenue stream that you can look at.
Okay. Speaking of reading and reading as a way of consuming content, where do you think our readers are going? Is the world coming up with more readers, or people are slowly switching to other formats of contents like video and audio is also there, infographic and all?
See, I agree with that. Our world is losing readers, and I won't say that people are switching to infographics, etc., because I still don't feel that there are good quality infographics available on the internet. So videos, yes. I used to be a reader, and I still read a lot of novels. But if I have to research a topic, I often think that, okay, let me check YouTube once, because often there'll be a 3-minute video compared to a 30-minute article. And the 3-minute video provides you greater and crisper content. So yes, the rise of YouTube, I think, has made us lose a lot of readers.
Uh, yeah, but the way you can capture thoughts and information inside a blog or inside something that is written versus inside a video is completely different. In You cannot capture everything in a video, right? So you have to create visuals around it. Audio is somewhat easier, but video no. So, what is your thought on that?
See, people, if I'm researching for my research paper or something like that, I'll always prefer to read, because that is the time I need in-depth knowledge about a topic. I would never go for a video for in that case. But but always there are people who in our world who don't like the reading, like the habit or have the habit of reading, and they would any day prefer a video to an article. They are not so. If say I want to know about say the journey of CCD, and I just have a information perspective. I just want to know about it. I don't have a academic perspective. So maybe I don't want to go into the details of it. So maybe I'll prefer a video over an article. And that is one of the main reasons why we kept our article short. Because when people scroll up an article and see that it is still going on and on and on, so people get deterred from reading it. And that is one of the reasons why our mails have a very good open rate, because they know that they are short and I'll be done in 2-3 minutes.
Prachi, now we will get into the personal side of being an entrepreneur. First, we'd like to know what was your first day of entrepreneurship like?
Okay, so I am a fan of starting things with the start of the month. So we actually started on 1st May 2020. You can scroll up our website, and the first article is on that day. And we were not very sure, and we didn't even know whether it was a startup, it was a venture, it was a newsletter. We could not term it. So all my friends started asking, oh, when did you get into this thing? When did you get into this thing? What is this? What is this? And I initially started typing out huge messages, all like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And people were initially very supportive, amazingly supportive, because the first person or the first group of people you connect to are your close family and friends. So I found amazing support in them. So I guess my start was beautiful. But you see, the people who matter are not the immediate family and friends, because we know that they'll support us. The people that matter are the second or third contacts, the friends of friends of friends. So that is where I started facing some problems, and I had backlash that, okay, you're just sending us out copied content. But a case study, it is a story about somebody's life. I cannot create a story about somebody's life. That will be fiction. So it has to be copied. So that was a place where I faced backlash, and I faced backlash about the timing of my articles. That some articles are not always very good and exceptional. Like the article we are sending out on Monday, sneak peek, it is about the story of Belarus, and that is not something that maybe somebody would like to read early morning. But I wanted to have an impact on people's mind. I want people to think about the perils that people are facing in some other country. So I often face backlash that, okay, please don't send depressing articles in the morning. But that is just a fact of life you should be aware of. So another thing.
And while building this venture, did you have substantial investment to go through? Did you make? How did you arrange the funds to build this venture?
Oh, so this is pretty easy, because it was a bootstrap thing. You don't need a lot of fund to start a newsletter unless and until you're planning on hiring professional journalists. So I needed money for my domain price. That is, I purchased it for 1 year, and then I needed it for my email hosting. So it all came around to say I paid like 2,000 for a year. That's it. And I occasionally invest in. Abhi to I'm proper and using proper organic channels of promotions. But I plan, and it will be pretty soon, like in a 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, on opting for social media marketing, because I think we need to enhance the organic reach of our pages. So that is where I'll need some investment, and most probably I plan to go to the um, my college, my undergraduate college, because they are the ones who started me off, and they have a whole investment opportunity, and they provide seed funds to students of their college who are doing something that they like. So most probably I'll go there.
Uh, Prachi, I would like to ask you, how do you have a team working alongside you? If there is, how did you recruit them?
Okay. So the first person that I took with me was Astha Agarwal. She's my best friend, and she's also a marketing graduate, currently working in Vadam Teas as the social media marketing manager.
Hmm.
So she was one of the people who started the idea with me, started it from scratch. And because she was already working, so she could not have the co-founder tag. So she's the first people I recruited. Afterwards, I recruited two more people, one for design and one for content. Our standard recruiting procedure goes like you fill a form, giving all your personal details and answering a quick question. Then afterwards, you're supposed to write an article. There is a deadline for the article. You have to get the article completed in 2 hours. You are not given more than that because there are often times when working for 3 minutes that you have to write articles on the go. And if you're a very slow writer and a slow researcher, then it does just simply does not work.
Hmm.
Apart from that, when we ask our like interviews viewees to write the articles, we usually ask them to write on Google Docs so that we can see what all grammatical changes they made, if they made any, and we know the English skill, general English skill that they have. So this was for my third teammate, Nandini Poddar. She is currently a third year student majoring in marketing from Shahid College of Business Studies. That is my undergraduate college. The fourth person I recruited was Akshit. Akshit is working as our design team right now. He is the design team right now. So his recruitment was pretty easy. I just saw his work samples, etc., and had him in because it is design. What else do you want to know? So that was it. And afterwards, I have two freelance people working with me. They are both from IIM Indore, and I don't know how long they'll be continuing with me. That is Swastika and Surbi. And but yeah, same procedure as followed with Nandini was taken up with them.
Okay. Prachi, here is an interesting question for you. Since you mentioned you had people who are into graphic design and other areas where you may not be skilled at. So then there comes a challenge. How do you know that whether a person is good enough for the job or not, since you don't have the technical knowledge to judge it?
Oh, so actually, Priya, I during the lockdown phase, because I knew that I have to start this, I took up a basic YouTube course on Photoshop. So I and as for graphic design, I feel that whatever appeals to the eye is good.
Hmm.
So that was not very difficult to judge. Yeah. So and I had a basic understanding. So if I wanted them to make changes, I could.
In general, how do you recruit someone who is into some other domain which you are not, and you don't have the technical skill set to judge the person?
Okay. I think I faced a similar situation when I was getting people to help me out with my website, and I needed somebody to write the code for me, and I had zero idea about it. So, see, for me, the running point was work samples. I always ask for work samples because I think the previous work that somebody has done tells a lot about him or her. And I give them timed assignments, as I told you with the writers, because I feel when a person works under pressure, we get to know whether the work is good and he is a quick thinker or not. So I asked, she was a girl, Nisha, but she came on a 2 task basis for me. And sorry, she was just given an assignment to change the formatting of my website, etc. And she had 1 hour for that. And I think she did a pretty not good job, I'd say. I had to do it, get it done over again. So yeah, that is a problem I think I faced when I was not I was recruiting somebody. I didn't know Even after asking for work samples, giving them timed assignments, I was not able to recruit the right person, and I had to get it done by a friend. So, see, I personally feel that you cannot recruit unless and until you even know 1% of the field you're recruiting in, or you have somebody who has given you a brief as to what you have to look for. Because when I recruited Nisha, I didn't know what to look for.
Okay, so that also brings a challenge for the co-founders, that if there is a domain that is completely alien to them, then they cannot expand to that domain. For example, if you are a brick and mortar business, and as a founder you don't have any idea on how online business works, so you cannot simply expand to the online area because you don't know who would be the right person to take that job, right?
Yeah, I think you shouldn't expand. I think that is why consultants exist in our world to help us out whenever we don't know anything. I faced when I was choosing the domain name for my website. So I had a little idea about domain names, like okay, it should be easy to read, there shouldn't be any grammatical anomalies in the name, etc., etc. I read up some Google articles on it, and I was like, okay, I am 3 Minute Reads. I'll have a domain called 3 Minute Reads. What's the harm in that? So I went over, I took 3 minutes read, but now I'm facing a huge challenge because I didn't know the domain, I didn't realize that 3 minute reads is something so common that it appears on every page and news page and article page, etc. Everybody has a section called 3 minutes, three
Hmm.
minutes reads.
Yeah.
Sorry, my video went on mute.
No problem.
So yeah, so that is why, and say Bloomberg, for example, Bloomberg has a section called short reads, reading time 3 minutes. And Bloomberg obviously has a very high ranking on Google than our website.
Mhm.
So, however accurate and however much my keywords match with what a user searches, I'll never be the top ranker on that website on Google search results. So, SEO is a huge problem for me right now. But yeah, I'm slowly trying to do something about it.
Okay. We are almost up with the time, Prachi. My last few questions. Uh, what are the challenges you faced along the way while building this venture?
Just as I mentioned, this domain thing has been a huge problem for me because we are not getting any direct links. Only our subscribers and our Instagram, LinkedIn followers are the ones who are the new subscribers for us. So that has become a huge problem for me. And I feel that when I recruit peers, like all my recruitees all my employees are peers, it is very difficult to get work done because they don't take you as seriously as they would take a senior member. So, and when you're starting a new venture, everybody knows that this is not their, a lot of people think that this is not their end goal. This is just something on the side. So people are often not very serious about it. And as a newsletter, we cannot have any missed deadlines. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, my newsletter has to go. And it is often that at 1 a.m. in the night, because some partner failed, I am writing an article. And when I write such a rushed article, the quality decreases. So that is a huge problem that I've been facing. I'm trying to build a repository of generic articles that do not have a fixed timeline. So to counter this problem, and as I said, I'm working on SEO to counter that domain name problem. So yeah, that is, I think it's only been 2-3 months since we started, so there haven't been a lot of roadblocks. But yeah, this is
Okay. Prachi, what is your vision with 3 minutes? Where you want to take it?
okay. So I currently we have a members area, as in members can read, like, share, comment, and interact among each other, even post their own articles. We have closed off this post their own articles thing because otherwise it just turns into Medium. So I want to make this members area paid. I want to increase the quality of content and the type of people who are available in the members area, invite only, so that somebody would pay to join that network. because it will be a network that adds value to you. So that is one thing that I plan on doing. If you talk will this be a full-time thing that I do? Honestly, I don't think as of now it requires a full-time investment. I spend like around 3-4 hours a week on this. Right, 2 hours for writing the articles, 2 hours for scheduling it, doing social media, etc., etc. So currently, I don't think that, but yeah, I would like to continue with it as long as I can because I think it is very beautiful sharing something you know. Maybe sometimes it is just fun stories, sometimes it is this beautiful case study that we got to learn in our classes, or sometimes just something you want to share. Like, I wanted to share the Belarus story.
My last question to you, Prachi. How do you suggest our audience who are potential entrepreneurs to get started on the journey of entrepreneurship?
See, I feel that what people often do. I had a friend and he wanted to start a YouTube channel, and the first thing he did was buy a mic and get a camera and a curved screen, etc., etc. I mean, okay, you have the money to invest, but first try out whether your thing will work or not, whether your thing is unique enough to gain traction, and that is for almost anything.
Hmm.
You should have a research phase, a pilot phase, somewhere, something that you know that you've done. And okay, I gained like 70% month on month growth. So that is why I'm continuing with it, because once you have, I had faith in 3 minutes because I knew that it had succeeded in the past. And once something like that happens, in the future also you have the faith to keep on going. You don't feel like quitting, yeah, let me leave it, this is not going to work, this was just a flop idea, because once it has succeeded, you know that okay, maybe there is something I'm doing wrong and it will succeed. And secondly, I think it is very important to have a good team. And a good team does not only mean people with good skill sets, it means people who resonate with your idea of a brand. Always a brand has an idea, a brand image, a brand personality. Ensure that you and your co-founder and your teammates think of the brand in the same light. Because if it is two different ideologies, it is bound to cause clashes.
Okay. Okay. On that note, I would like to close this session, Prachi. It was a great pleasure to host you here at ALI, and our audience would have got lifetime lessons from this video. Thanks, Prachi, for your time, and our best wishes for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Priya, for having me here. Great talking to you. Good
Uh,
day. Bye bye.
Viewers, you can follow Prachi on LinkedIn by searching for Prachi Singh. Also, do visit their website by typing 3minutereads.com. So, whom do you want to have here at ELI for next episode? Do let me know in comments below. We will be back. Stay tuned to ELI.